Well, here's a trip down memory lane. I haven't been to this spot for the longest time, but for some reason I fancied coming here to test out the old school Leeson. After riding the Pace last week, it was a no-brainer to ride the Leeson, another British handmade trials bike from back in the day. Although weirdly, despite this being a steel bike, it is a lot lighter than the Pace, so I'm hoping I can throw this about a bit easier. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is, well, the shortness of the bike, but also the lack of engagement points in this hub. It's a Hope Pro 2 with about 48 engagement points, whereas I'm used to about 690 on my Hex. But with that intro out the way, let's see how this bike rides. Oh, I did not think that was on that then. Oh. Yeah, absolute. Oh. Well, as usual, that took bloody ages, but I'm not too surprised because balance isn't my strongest point. You'd be surprised to hear as a trials rider. I actually do find skinnies really difficult, so I'm a glutton for punishment, always choosing the hardest lines I can find. And yeah, that took a while, but actually really pleased to get that in the end. I don't think I did any unnecessary hops, which I'm stoked with. Whew. Okay, I've obviously ridden this bike for a little bit now. What are my first impressions? Well, they're actually really good. I've pretty much fallen in love with this bike already. Okay, so maybe the geometry is a little bit dated. Shorter chainstays would be nice, but also maybe just a slightly longer reach as well. I've got a feeling if I spend too much time on this bike, my back won't be too happy about it. But this bike is definitely lighter than the Pace. It feels solid, and I forgot how much I love these Schwalbe tabletop tires. It's a shame they stopped making them. But yeah, so far, really enjoying this bike, and even the lack of engagement points doesn't seem to be holding me back too much. Plus, I honestly think this is one of the coolest looking bikes ever. But yeah, let's move on to a new spot and see if I still love this bike after a little bit more time on it. Hands up if you remember in my build video, me saying how scared I am of snapping chains with this 16-tooth bash and chainring combo. I won't lie, this bash makes me slightly nervous. Well, I think that paranoia is justified because I was feeling some really nasty noises and feelings coming from the chain. So I had a look, and yes, one link was starting to splay apart. I'm glad I caught it when I did. So I've gone home, put on another chain. I would say it's a new chain, but the cute thief has been a bit stingy with getting me new chains recently. I really hope that this chain's gonna cope well, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't still scared. I keep on meaning to mention, because I'm sure some of you have been asking, where's Fraser? Well, Fraser's decided he hates me and has moved off to Europe to get as far away as possible, and is working in Austria over the summer. Jokes aside, he has actually taken a pretty cool job over in Austria. It's a shame not to have him around for the summer, but he'll be back eventually, maybe, if he decides to return. But yeah, we've not fallen out or anything. He's just gone off to bigger and better things. I think I'd better get on with some riding. The weather forecast says it's going to start raining this afternoon, a little bit later, but there are some pretty dark clouds behind me. I can actually feel a slight twinge in my back, so I'm hoping that'll hold off. And yeah, I'm at a new spot, so let's see what I can do here. Oh, the other thing I was going to say, which I'm really enjoying at that last spot, was not having any discs to hit while trying to saddle up onto a skinny thing. That is one thing bad about having disc brakes on normal street trials bikes. They work amazingly for pretty much everything, but going onto skinny stuff, if you slide off, it's so easy to bend the rotor, then it's game over. Now, rim brakes certainly have their disadvantages, but it was really nice not to have to worry about a disc rotor for once. The rain has come earlier than expected, which is really annoying because I've only managed to get one clip here and I had quite a few other things that I wanted to try. What I'm going to do instead is find some cover. I'm going to go into the woods, and hopefully with the leaves, the ground will stay a bit drier for longer and I can get a bit more riding done. So let's go do that. Right, I'm at Pollock Park and it is raining and it is slightly dry here, although there's a gap in the trees exactly above this fallen tree, which I guess makes sense. This looks fun, I want to ride it, but the longer I take, the wetter it's going to get, so I need to do this. This tree looks very greasy. Ah, man. I've got water on my rims, and these are smooth rims, so that's kind of disastrous. Definitely getting slippier. I also managed to pocket dial Jane on that crash as well. Oh man. Well, despite my best efforts, I didn't beat the rain. It's here and it's making everything pretty damn slippery. But one of the main issues is I am running smooth rims with a little bit of tar, and as soon as you get any water on it, it's essentially like you don't have brakes at all. Fortunately, yesterday when it was nice weather, I went to Cathkin and I managed to get a few clips there, so let's go back in time. The weather has finally been good enough for long enough that I can ride the logs, my favorite logs here at Cathkin. You may recognize this log, or you may not, because it has changed a lot since I was last here. This is one of my favorite spots to ride, but every time I come here after winter, this thing's more and more rotten, and the second log there is lower and lower every year, and it's practically touching the floor now. So this is actually getting easier and easier to ride every year. It's going to be less wobbly, but maybe less impressive to ride. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, I don't really know what to do, so I'm just going to jib about and see what I can come up with. You're kidding me. It's really horrible to land that way because it's on an uphill slope, so it's really hard just to land it smooth and roll away. I'm always amazed that back brake even holds. Not sure if I've told you guys yet, this bike is short and I just hit my knee, my bad knee, on my stem. Even though the stem doesn't have any bolts around the back, it's still short enough that you hit it and smack it. And this is my knee that I cut earlier in the year. Ow. I need like a stem pad or something. Oh, man, I always come here and I always end up bleeding. A little bit messy at the end if I'm gonna nitpick it, but happy with that. Don't think I did any unnecessary hops, so that's mission accomplished. Oh, I'm glad my foot got on that then. Did not think my back tyre was going to grip to that then. Well, that's not what I want, but I quite like that, so that's going in the video. I've been trying this for 50 minutes now. I reckon I'm almost into the triple figures of attempts, but I still want to get my initial idea, so here we go again. Well, that took over an hour to do, but I got it in the end. I hate walking away from stuff, and I almost did walk away from that one, but I'm glad I stuck with it because in my head that looked really cool. I hope it looks good when I watch this back. One thing old school trials riders used to suffer with was getting a bad back. I was lucky, I never really had too much of an issue, but as soon as I started doing comps, bikes got longer and longer and it was better for your back. However, for the folk who stuck it out with the short bikes like this, I'm not surprised your backs gave in. I've only been riding this for a couple of hours and my back's hurting already. And we're back. So I would have loved to have finished the video exactly there, but continuity with wearing different clothes wouldn't work. So I'm going to finish it back here at Pollock Park. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I actually really like this bike. I actually like it a little bit more than the Pace, although I would like to try the Pace with some lighter parts to see if it rides any better. But this Leeson, wow, what a cool bike. I actually think this is a little bit cooler than the Pace as well. I don't know, it's just unique and I really like that. When I was a bit younger, I didn't really want a Leeson. I was too interested in comps, in longer seatless bikes, so they kind of passed me by a little bit. I did respect what they were doing, but now that I've ridden one, I actually really like it. I would have liked it to have been a little bit longer because my back is pretty damn sore, although that could have been all the gardening work I did last weekend. But yeah, like I said, this is a really cool bike and I just felt really cool riding it, even if I didn't get as much riding done as I would have liked. But I'm gonna have to call it because I am getting absolutely munched by the midges. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed riding the bike, and I'll catch you all next time. Oh yeah, go buy some merch, go get me on Patreon, subscribe, thumbs up, notifications. See you later, bye.